you're watching Budget of Hope, an initiative by ICICIdirect.com. I have with me a very special guest, Ms. Swati Kulkarni, Executive Vice President and Fund Manager, UTI Asset Management Company. Welcome, Swati. Challenging times and lots of hope.
Thank you, Gitu.
What are your expectations this time?
I think FY21, if you look at it, it was the year of spending because, rightfully the kind of pandemic that had hit us and there was a humanitarian crisis that needed to be addressed by government spending on the lower strata of the economy as well as, hand-holding of the unorganized sector, especially MSME. So it was a year of spending, and I think as far as the revised budget deficit is concerned, there is a consensus that it will be around 7%. So to that extent, I think people are going to look forward for FY22, which will be an year of recovery, I would say, and some of the the initial roots have been seen in terms of the quarterly results that we have gone through, or in terms of the GST collections, which are looking up. The electricity and discretionary consumption has picked up. There is some amount of pent-up demand in that, but definitely it's going to be a year of recovery. Having said that, there will be a constraint as far as the fiscal discipline is concerned, and therefore I think government will balance the need to ignite the economic growth further on a long-term basis as well as hence the fiscal prudence. And that's what is expected. So at this point of time, the economist expectations range between 5.5% to 6% as far as the fiscal deficit is concerned.
Talking about disinvestment, government has missed the target this time too. I mean, we're expecting somewhere around 40,000 crores to 50,000 crore mop up this year, a shortfall of more than 1.5 lakh crores. So do you expect the disinvestment target to be tamed down a bit in the budget FY22?
I think to be fair, we have seen 4 to 5 into law, and there is, difficult to expect any kind of activity on the disinvestment front as well when people are not, able to move out. I would say that the basic approach towards disinvestment probably will have to be changed. Rather than tickling down the supply by few percentage through various methods, I think government will likely look at strategic disinvestment, strategic buyers, and that could gather much higher amount. Whether it will happen next year, but I think the roots of that will definitely be there. There are the talks about how should they go about, which sectors government wants to keep ownership, which sectors they want to give away the ownership to the private sector. I think these are progressive discussions which will, lead a path going forward as far as the disinvestment proceeds are concerned. It's difficult to, pen down just in a short period of 1 year what could be the target and what could be the achievement towards that.
More than 5% correction from record highs for the markets. Is this sell-off due to the pre-budget uncertainty weighing on the market sentiment, or there's something more to it?
So I would say that, as far as uncertainty is concerned, many things have moved out of the budget. Now, I would say that the financial, markets today are much more of an open book. The government policies are, discussed, and discussions are invited towards that throughout the year. We have seen GST coming in place, and the GST Council takes on review on a periodic basis. So now, I think the importance of the budget which was there in 90s in terms of looking for all the policy matters, that is somewhat is diluted, and for rightfully I would say that that's something which is good to support economy whenever that is required rather than waiting for the day. So as far as uncertainty is concerned, I don't think that is really what people are looking for as far as what would happen in budget. Should I take position this way or that way? But and on the deficit side, so as I said, it is very well expected. So I would look at it more to do with the kind of valuations that had run up more from a liquidity perspective, and there could be some amount of profit booking. But if you look at on the corporate India front, we see a lot of improvements. Of course, the pandemic has led managements to take those steps, whether it is the cost control or addressing the balance sheets issues, improving the quality of balance sheet, deleveraging, and also, the interest costs are likely to go down. So I feel from a corporate India perspective, we are definitely going to see much better profitability and hence resulting into better capital efficiencies and higher return on capital employed, return on ROEs, which is good for Indian companies. So in short term, yes, the valuations which were even on price to book were looking expensive zone or the upper end of the fair value. Those have now corrected, and I think that is something which has happened. Nobody could have timed it that when it could happen, but yeah, it happened to be towards the budget, and therefore one can say that some investors might think of taking profits. And on the global front also, I think there are things happening in the US particularly. There's likely to be another $1 trillion of fiscal expansion that they're talking about. Spend on infrastructure is also talked about, and therefore there could be a possibility of industrial recovery in US, and there could be some amount of money which could have gone back to those markets as well. But to my mind, these are technical issues. I think these are noise to an extent, and retail investors, including I think portfolio managers like us, we should not be building our portfolio strategies based on this. We should look at good quality companies and hold on to reap benefits from the kind of profit growth or earnings trajectory that they enjoy. And that's how one can create wealth.
Ma'am, what are the sectors that you would be underweight on? Because you talked about valuations. So sectors that you'll be overweight and underweight.
So, Gitu, right now, the sectors that, my funds has been overweight, and some of the sectors in UTI other funds, some of the other funds in UTI also are overweight are pharmaceuticals and IT, mainly because of we think that these are two sectors which have a long growth runway, and the balance sheets are also very strong. In case of IT sector, pharmaceuticals, the balance sheets are likely to improve with higher profitability, and we could see higher return ratios there. So these are two sectors which we like, both from a cash flow generation and the long growth runway. The discretionary side of consumption also, though valuations are very high, there are strong entry barriers around the companies in this space, and we think that again here the penetration and premiumization could be good catalyst for sustained growth there. So that is another sector where we are overweight. And as far as underweight sectors are concerned, I think we are a little cautious on the banking space from the overall sector exposure, because not all banks are well capitalized, and the asset quality related issues could still be there, given the Supreme Court embargo and the RBI guidelines. We don't have yet a clear picture on the asset quality. So we are cautious there. But we are having aversion in private sector banks there. That's how we've been playing and avoiding some of these small tier 2 banks at this point of time. So because of that, and because the index has a higher exposure, optically we might look underweight on that sector. Apart from that, some of our portfolios would be underweight on metals and commodities per se. So I think that's how it is. Another sector which we are overweight is telecom in most of the funds. Energy could be another underweight sector, Gitu. Sorry.
Yeah. We just spoke about the banking sector, that you're cautious on the banking space. Do you expect some kind of a recap coming for the weak banks and the bad bank stories again back on the cards?
Yeah, that's also around budget time. The talks are there that budget could announce something on the bad bank. Frankly, that's addressing the problem. But as a portfolio manager, we might be looking more towards banks which are having strong liability franchise, having good capital adequacy, rather than getting into which banks could be a turnaround play. So that has been the thought process, and we would concentrate on that. The banks which have been showing better return on asset and or at least the improving trajectory there. So that's the focus for us.
Ma'am, what's your opinion on this initiative on budget of hope with ICICI Direct?
I think it's a good platform for your investors and the potential investors, I would say, because it's a knowledge sharing platform. Probably it is an experience sharing as well. Hope that experience helps your investors in looking for long term and looking for a good guidance as far as their wealth creation journey is concerned. And I wish you and your investors all the best for future as well.
Thank you, Mr. Kulkarni, for being with us. It was a pleasure speaking with you.